Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds once wore the crown of the internet's favorite celebrity couple, always ready with a witty tweet, a charming red carpet pose, or a playful interview clip that made everyone say, "Ah, aren't they adorable?" But in recent times, the entire vibe around them has shifted. Suddenly, the gossip isn't just about their fashion or humor. Instead, it's rife with allegations of behind-the-scenes power moves, subtle sabotage, and enough sly digs to fill a tabloid for weeks on end. What happened to the sweet, fun-loving pair we all thought we knew? The question on everyone's lips right now is, are Blake and Ryan quietly more manipulative than any of us realized, or have they simply been misunderstood? Take a good look at the swirling controversies, and you'll see plenty of evidence that they might be running a carefully orchestrated campaign to stay on top, using everything from shady on-set antics to pointed barbs on national television. Fans who once adored them are starting to think twice, while newcomers to the drama are scratching their heads, wondering how these two ended up in so many messy headlines. Let's be real. They still crack jokes, flash those million-dollar smiles, and occasionally drop adorable family tidbits that make people swoon. But with every new rumor or snippet of awkward footage, their wholesome veneer appears a little more cracked. Is it all just harmless banter, or is there something deeper, something more cutthroat, lurking beneath the surface? You're about to find out as we count down 10 specific petty moments that have kept Blake and Ryan at the center of heated gossip. These aren't random mistakes or innocent slip-ups. They paint a picture of two people who may know exactly how to use humor to tear others down, or to deflect from their own questionable moves. By the time we reach the final point, you might never look at this power couple the same way again. So buckle up. These stories may not be the family-friendly fare you're used to from them. Let's jump in. Our first stop is Ryan Reynolds' much-discussed appearance on Saturday Night Live. Now, surprise cameos on SNL aren't exactly uncommon. Celebrities drop in all the time for a quick laugh. But in Ryan's case, people noticed something peculiar. He showed up during a period when the show's head writer, Colin Jost, had allegedly cracked jokes about Ryan's controversies, particularly some whispered tension brewing between Blake and her It Ends With Us co-star, Justin Baldoni. Adding fuel to the fire, Colin Jost is married to Scarlett Johansson, Ryan's ex-wife, so it doesn't take a detective to guess that the mood in the studio might have been a bit charged. Some viewers said Ryan's presence felt oddly purposeful, as though he wanted to send a message. You can't just talk about me from a distance. I'll show up right in your face. A few camera shots even caught actor Kevin Costner in the crowd, and gossip sites had a field day speculating he looked less than thrilled. Was he annoyed by Ryan's stunt? Did he sense the hidden tension in the room? Regardless, the cameo got people talking for all the wrong reasons. Instead of a lighthearted comedic drop-in, it came off as a power move by a star not happy about being the punchline. Some fans applauded him for having guts, while others found it petty to engage in a tug-of-war with another comedian on live TV. Whichever side you land on, it's a prime example of how Ryan might use big platforms not just for laughs, but to flex some behind-the-scenes clout and maybe ruffle a few feathers in the process. Next, we turn to a more serious topic. Blake Lively alleging she was harassed on the set of It Ends With Us. Typically, this would be a moment for compassion and careful support from those closest to her, especially from her husband. But according to whispers around Hollywood, Ryan barely hit pause on his comedic routine. Even in the face of her claims, he reportedly kept cracking jokes, acting as if the gravity of her situation was just another comedic prompt. Why would he do that? One theory is that Ryan struggles to leave his funny guy persona behind, no matter how sensitive the topic. Others say it's a strategy. If they keep everything light and breezy, maybe the press won't dig too deep. Whatever the case, it struck a sour chord for many observers. Harassment allegations aren't exactly a laughing matter, so fans started asking, did he undermine her experience, or was this their joint plan to maintain a certain narrative? Some cynics even wonder if Blake's harassment story itself was used as a publicity lever. The timeline seemed suspicious. First the claims, then Ryan's flippant responses, then a wave of publicity around both of them. It might sound conspiratorial, but Hollywood is a place where personal stories often double as strategic moves. If that's true, it's the kind of tactic that can leave a very bad taste in people's mouths, especially if the situation is as serious as Blake described. Ryan Reynolds is best known these days for Deadpool, a role that lets him blur the line between actor and comedic troll. He's got free rein to poke fun at anyone, from fellow Marvel stars to real-world celebrities, often breaking the fourth wall to deliver stinging one-liners. But some fans think he went further than usual by embedding subtle references aimed at Justin Baldoni, painting a too nice character that the audience is supposed to cheer against. Why Justin? Apparently, there's tension between him and the couple. Some say he's clashed with Blake on set, and others claim Ryan has grown tired of Justin's squeaky clean image. Ryan once spoke about enjoying the creation of a character so overly sweet that viewers would anticipate his downfall. The parallel to Justin's genuine, philanthropy-driven public persona was enough to raise eyebrows. After all, if Ryan wanted to troll someone, he'd do it cleverly, tucking the jab into a script where only the initiated would connect the dots. Sure, it might be a stretch, but it wouldn't be the first time a big Hollywood star used a movie cameo to throw shade at a real-life rival. If Ryan indeed took shots at Justin under the guise of Deadpool's humor, it's a perfect illustration of how comedic brilliance can double as a mask for pettiness. Fans may laugh, but the target certainly won't be amused. Now let's look back to that awkward SNL scenario. Colin Jost is a prime figure in the comedic world, known for biting commentary on pop culture. Rumor has it that he once made a sly remark about the drama on the set of It Ends With Us, possibly calling out Ryan's or Blake's involvement. Ryan, in turn, was reportedly unhappy, leading to that unannounced cameo we discussed. Here's where Scarlett Johansson comes in. She's Colin's wife, but also Ryan's ex. The two were married from 2008 to 2011, and their divorce didn't exactly scream amicable. While both moved on, Ryan with Blake, Scarlett with Colin, some fans believe old resentments linger. Scarlett's presence at SNL only heightens the tension, since she's essentially part of the show's family. Observers noticed that the camera never lingered too long on her reactions during Ryan's cameo. Was that intentional? Perhaps. The world might never get a direct statement from any of them about behind-the-scenes tension, but the vibe was clear enough to keep tongues wagging. If Ryan's goal was to remind Colin, and maybe even Scarlett, that he can steal the spotlight anytime he wants, mission accomplished. But in doing so, he fueled the narrative that he and Blake thrive on stirring pots rather than letting sleeping dogs lie. Switching gears, we arrive at Blake Lively's personal project, Betty Buzz, a line of non-alcoholic mixers. On paper, it's all about sophisticated flavors, stylish packaging, and a witty approach to marketing. But one particular ad sparked backlash. In the promo, Blake essentially says, "We don't test on animals, we test on men," then proceeds to treat the male actor in the commercial as though he's a lap dog, calling him a good boy while he drinks. Reactions were split. Some viewers found it cheeky role reversal humor. Hey, men get to be objectified for once. Others labeled it cringe and off-putting, pointing out that if the genders had been reversed, it would be a scandal. Critics used it as another example of how Blake and Ryan seem to enjoy crossing the line between comedy and disrespect. They get away with it because fans think they're lovable sweethearts. But when you strip away that assumption, you're left with an ad that treats a person like a subhuman test subject, which is jarring no matter how it's framed. Betty Buzz tried to brush off the controversy, but the internet rarely forgets. Many watchers log this as yet another instance of the couple's off-color, self-serving humor, which might be overshadowing their once-beloved brand. Speaking of off-color humor, let's not forget Blake's infamous boob-themed cake for her one-year-old son. While a comedic birthday cake might amuse some, many found this choice bizarre. Why sexualize a baby's birthday party? Blake recounted the story publicly, apparently proud of how it made people do a double take. She even tied it back to her own body, suggesting there was a playful synergy in the concept. But for skeptics, it felt like a classic case of attention-seeking. The child can't even comprehend the joke, so who's it really for? Blake's comedic defense, "It's just silly fun," didn't resonate with everyone. Some labeled it tone-deaf, others argued it was harmless. Still, the incident took its place on the growing list of moments that paint Blake as someone who might prioritize shock value over taste. When viewed in tandem with all the other controversies, it's easy to see why some folks are rolling their eyes at every new sassy reveal. Before It Ends With Us, Blake was best known for her role on Gossip Girl. Rumors from that era claim she worked behind the scenes to sour people on Penn Badgley, her eventual co-star, and, for a time, boyfriend. Some said she whispered negative tidbits before ever meeting him, ensuring he'd face a frosty welcome. Later, they dated, fueling speculation that Blake's initial hostility might have been a weird form of flirting or a power move to see if Penn could handle her. Fast forward to the It Ends With Us set, and whispers started circulating that Blake was making similar moves against Justin Baldoni, allegedly planting seeds of doubt so crew members and producers would be cautious around him. The motive? Possibly establishing dominance, or ensuring she'd be the bigger name on the call sheet. If even a fraction of these rumors are true, it suggests a pattern of clandestine sabotage. Manipulate the environment, keep co-stars off balance, and maintain the upper hand. Naturally, Blake has never confirmed such tactics, but in an industry known for cutthroat jockeying, it's not impossible. Combined with everything else, the story of her subtle sabotage only makes the pettiest couple in Hollywood label more believable. Blake's behind-the-scenes maneuvering also extends to projects outside of It Ends With Us. She famously recounted how she was developing her own script before discovering that producer Barbara Broccoli, famed for her work on the James Bond franchise, had another script Blake wanted to do, the rhythm section. According to Blake, she became obsessed with landing this project, persuading director Reed Morano to pivot away from their original plans and chase Barbara until she fell for it. The resulting film turned out to be a box office disappointment, with low returns that left the studio licking its wounds. Blake, however, seemed to shrug off the flop, focusing on how proud she was to have convinced Barbara to trust her. Critics say this exemplifies a bigger pattern. She'll ditch her own undertakings if there's a glossier, more high-profile opportunity on the horizon. Loyalty to a cause or script doesn't appear to matter as much as leveraging the biggest Hollywood players. Some might call it hustle. Others see it as opportunism. But in the context of all these petty behaviors, it underscores a willingness to prioritize personal gain, even if it means flipping projects midstream and leaving previous commitments behind. When the dust settled, Paramount and the filmmakers ended up with a critical and financial dud, while Blake walked away seemingly unscathed. Now, let's swing back to Ryan. In Deadpool, he's known for comedic potshots at Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman. They share a frenemy routine that fans mostly find endearing. But one particular line in Deadpool referenced Wolverine, letting himself go after the divorce. Here's the catch. In the X-Men storyline, Wolverine was never married, let alone divorced. So many fans interpreted it as a jab at Hugh Jackman's real-life marriage, especially since rumors about trouble had swirled for a while. Sure, Hugh and Deborah Lee Furness might have faced some public speculation, but it was never confirmed as a divorce. The fact that Ryan slipped that line into the movie triggered debate. Was it comedic banter or personal shade? If Ryan knew more than the tabloids, referencing it in a big-budget film is undeniably bold. Some say downright cruel. Others chalk it up to their playful rivalry. Either way, it illustrates how Ryan's comedic persona can weaponize jokes to poke at personal, potentially painful details. It's all laughs for the audience, but for the target? Not so much. Finally, the moment that really cements their rumored reputation. Alleged legal maneuvers targeting Justin Baldoni. Word has it Blake sought a court-imposed gag order on Justin's lawyer, effectively muzzling any damaging information that might leak out during their dispute. Gag orders are serious business. They can limit what lawyers can say publicly, shielding celebrity reputations from potential scandal. On top of that, rumors swirl that she demanded access to over 2 years of Justin's phone records, far exceeding the timeline of their conflict. In legal terms, that's often seen as a fishing expedition, a way to find anything, no matter how tangential, that could be twisted for leverage. Critics argue it's a heavy-handed intimidation tactic. After all, rummaging through someone's personal messages can unearth plenty of private details that have nothing to do with the official dispute. If these claims hold water, they demonstrate how Blake and Ryan are willing to flex serious legal muscle to protect their image. Rather than let a conflict play out in court on equal footing, they might be using every tool possible to ensure they stay ahead of the narrative. When you add this to the rest of their track record, it's a recipe for a couple who appear far more cutthroat than comedic. So there you have it. 10 petty moments that collectively paint Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds as a pair more complex and possibly more ruthless than their bubbly social media personas suggest. From orchestrated cameos at Saturday Night Live to hush-hush legal strategies, they've given us enough evidence to wonder if their brand of humorous banter is really just a friendly disguise for a set of sharper intentions. Does this mean they're purely villains? Not necessarily. Plenty of celebrities juggle self-interest with genuine charm. It's also possible these incidents reflect a high-stakes environment where staying relevant means playing rough from time to time. With every new rumor, though, the question becomes, are they leveraging comedy to mask power plays? Or are these stories inflated by tabloids hungry for drama? For many fans, the simplest explanation is that Blake and Ryan are pros at understanding how to shape their public image, and they'll do whatever it takes to remain on top. The comedic jabs, the coincidental show appearances, the hush-hush handling of rumors, it can all be traced back to a desire to control the narrative. They're not the first couple to do it, nor will they be the last. Yet, as these 10 petty moments reveal, the cracks in their glossy veneers seem to be getting wider. Whether they can plaster them over with more jokes and Instagram posts remains to be seen. For some watchers, these power moves are a deal breaker, tainting the couple's once sparkling reputation. For others, it's just an entertaining soap opera, proving once again that even the sweetest smiling duo might have a closet of secrets, and they're not afraid to open that closet if it keeps them in the spotlight. Thanks for supporting the Gossip Wire. If you made it this far in the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more of the hottest celebrity news online.